We have a new guest in the studio, and his name is Mario Singh. He's an entrepreneur, he's an investor, he's an author. Mario, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you. I look forward to having a great conversation.
This is the Situation Room. That's the hot seat of the Situation Room.
I love it.
Karibu sana. From what country are you?
I'm from Singapore.
You're Singaporean.
Yes, I am.
That's what we call the people
absolutely.
from Singapore, isn't it, Ndu?
Oh yeah, why not? For this Friday at 8:10, sure.
Not Singaporeese. Okay. When did you come into Kenya?
Well, this is my first trip into the whole of the African continent. I started by flying to Johannesburg. So that was an 11-hour flight from Singapore. So I spent 3 days in Johannesburg because I was invited to speak in a fintech conference. So I was thinking from there, I wanted to visit one of the countries on the eastern border. So we knew one or two friends here. So they said, why don't you come to Kenya? So I said, okay, let's do that. And the rest is history. I'm here.
Karibu sana. So what is it that you do?
So Eric, I'm an entrepreneur, investor, author. My story probably takes me back about 20 years. Now, when I graduated from Singapore, so we've got a local university called National University of Singapore. Singapore is a country that doesn't really have any resources. So when a country was being built, literally the resource is the human being, is the person. So we go to work on ourselves, and all our parents, will tell us, go work hard, go study hard. So when we studied hard and I failed university miserably in a sense, I came out with something called third class honors. Now in my university, there was something called a direct honors program. So that's first class, second upper, second lower, and then third class. So I came out with third class. Shattered my mom's dreams, couldn't really, because I was supposed to be the bright one. So couldn't really do anything, was bumming around a while. And what really helped me, here's the turning point, guys. I met a mentor. And I'm a big believer in mentorship now because I'm a beneficiary of that. So these were wise men and women who poured themselves into me with their wisdom, their knowledge, and their understanding, and gave me a perspective about life that I never saw before. So I learned so much about finance and business from them, although that's not my professional study. And today, after I fast forward all these years, the companies that I've built, the medias that I've been on, the books that I've written, I attribute all of it to the mentors who have gone before me, who have downloaded and taught me all these values in me, and I want to share all of that with the world.
What was it about that mentor? So what was he? Was the mentor an employer? Was the mentor like a big uncle who was hand-holding you through life?
There were a few mentors that really helped me, all right? And I'm going to share maybe mentorship from two perspectives that I think would be a bit more relevant. So one in business, one in finance. Because my training was chemical engineering in school. So I studied engineering but came out with third class. There was no real application. I couldn't find a job. I always joke about it and say, I sent my resume to Shell because a lot of people say when you come out from chemical engineering, you'll be working in all these billion-dollar firms like pharmaceutical companies, like petrochemical industries. I never heard back from any one of them. So when all these mentors came to me, or rather I sought them out, and here's the first lesson I want to share with people. You actually never lose by asking. You never lose because when you ask someone to mentor you, there's only going to be two outcomes. Outcome number one, they say yes. Outcome number two, they say no. When they say no, you go back to being who you were before. You technically had no change. But if they said yes, your whole life changes. And that's the first sharing I do want to share with the entire audience. You never lose by asking. So all the lessons that they poured into me over all the years, my mindset grew naturally. And all those principles and strategies that I applied in building the businesses has really helped because principles don't change.
I want to hear the story of this first mentor because you say after you graduated and you're coming out, you're bumming, your parents are really feeling frustrated. What on earth happened? You met this one person.
Yes.
Who was this one person?
So this was someone that
what were the circumstances of meeting?
This was someone that was introduced to me by a friend. So during the times, I'm not so sure in Kenya we have, there's something called multi-level marketing and all that, right?
Yep.
But in Singapore, there was also people who say, Mario, come and see, there's opportunity. So my friend had all this passion. And when I met this guy, and the first thing that he spoke to me was this, right? And he actually said it in Chinese. So I speak Chinese a bit. I'm going to say the sentence in Chinese because it reverberates to me, throughout me, till today. He said this and I'll explain it. Okay? He said, 世界上没有成功的事业，只有成功的人。 What this sentence means in Chinese is basically this. In the entire world, there are no successful businesses, only successful people. Because it is the people that build the businesses. So that was something that shook me already. And immediately he said, Mario, go to work on yourself. Because success at the end of the day, right, is not really something that we are pursuing. Success is something that we are attracting. So that's the key. He said, go to work on yourself. And that was a solid goal. And I'm seeing the benefits of that throughout the years. As I worked on myself, as I changed my mindset, as I gave myself opportunities to develop certain skill sets like negotiation, like business building, like strategy. And these are things that can be applied across any industry. It doesn't really matter what industry or what company that we are building. At the end of the day, all these principles will work. You need to understand marketing. You need to understand production. You need to understand administration. So that was the first mentor that I met. And boom, my life changed.
What did you do? So, I mean, here it is that you're presented with an opportunity, and this is probably where a lot of people find themselves in today. A lot of would-be fledgling businesses here and there, that you have an opportunity, but how are you then able to marry it within your to your next action? So somebody says something, but then what's the next thing that you do? We can try and be philosophical or ask you directly, what did you then do? You get somebody who says, well, this is how you work on yourself, but then you can work on yourself and you can do the due diligence, you can maybe do another course.
Yeah.
But then
I hear you.
Is that the magical wand that has been waved that then these opportunities then flop in your lap?
I like the word magical because my fourth book is entitled The Magical Rule of Three. So that's the latest book I wrote. Now in the book, actually I have a chapter that says the 3 ingredients for massive success. All right, so we'll pick it up a little bit from there. The 3 ingredients are this: knowledge, action, desire. Any good mentor worth his salt or her salt is able to give you the ingredients of knowledge and action. But no mentor on earth is able to fire that inside you to give you that desire. They may help a little bit, but that internal fire has got to start burning within you. Because once you have the desire, and it always starts with that, because all the actions and behaviors are on the outside, right? If you don't have that internal desire, and I can tell you desire is something that is even stronger than motivation. Motivation is something like a warm bath. All right, you take it, you feel good for a day, and then you may lose it. So it's the desire, it's the flame that's always burning within you. So a lot of times when people ask me, Mario, what's the next step? What's the next step? I tell them you're thinking too much. Just take the first one. Once you take the first step, take the next one. Once you take the next one, you take the third one. There's a beautiful book by a guy called James Clear. He wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And here's the beautiful thing that blew my mind. If you just decide to improve 1% a day. Now, none of us can really quantify what exactly is 1%. But it's safe to say it's a minuscule improvement. Minuscule. He said in his book, and this is the essence of the entire book, right? If you were to just improve 1% a day, you will end up the entire year being 37 times better than who you were at the start of the year. Guys, can you imagine being someone 37 times of who you are today? That's amazing. So what's the key that I tell people? Build momentum. That's it. Take positive actions in the direction of your goal. And no one can tell me today, all right, that I don't know what to do. You definitely have a goal. The key question is, are you taking the positive steps into moving in the direction of your goal? Everyone, every single person, including all of us here, are able to take one step in the direction of our goal because we know where we are going.
But that requires assessment, right? Because you need to know you may be taking a step. Are you actually heading towards the direction of your goal? You could be taking a step in the wrong direction. How do you know you're taking the step in the wrong direction?
Well, let's start with this. So let's just say someone says, I want to be a world-class broadcaster. I want to be a world-class journalist. The next question I will ask him or her is this: do you know what a world-class broadcaster or journalist looks like? Name me someone. Give me someone who you feel is an idol for you, or someone that you feel is a hero for you. All right? Now the person will give me the name. So after he gives me the name, here's the next question I'll ask him. Tell me, what do you think are the values and the work ethic of this person? So if someone says, I want to be like Eric one day, I will ask him, what do you think are the values and the work ethic of Eric? Once you know that, go start working in the direction of being that person. Guys, it is really that simple. It may sound simplistic, but I can tell you that is the key answer. Begin tomorrow, today.
There's something that you've authored a number of books. What's the latest one that you've authored?
So I've done 4 books in my career. The first 3 books were more about trading and investing. So that's my primary modality, so to speak, because when I first turned from chemical engineering, which I entirely flopped, right? And I had good mentors that taught me about business and finance. So the first 3 books were about trading and investing. The 4th book, I wrote this book actually when COVID was rampant throughout the world. I wrote this, if I recall, in the months of February and March of 2020. So that's when COVID was literally just starting, right? So this book is hinged upon, well, the title is The Magical Rule of 3. And the reason why that title, right? Because I realized that people tend to absorb principles once it's in 3s. I mean, look at slogans, right? 3 little pigs. You look at Nike, just do it. All right. So people remember things that are in 3s. This book has 3 main pillars. The first pillar, I call it personal success. There's 7 chapters on personal success. The second pillar is on financial success. 7 chapters there. And the final third segment, 7 chapters on business success. So I tell people the magical rule of 3 is essentially practical strategies to help you in your personal development, in your financial success, and in your entrepreneurial success that can help you forever.
How do you think that as you write, that the lives or the strategies of folks who read what you write or who listen to the words that you speak then are impacted?
You know, when you ask me this question, a sentence comes to mind. The sentence goes like this, What you lack in depth, you tend to compensate in length. What you lack in depth, you tend to compensate in length. Now, what this sentence means basically, right? If you don't go to the depth of an issue, it'll take you like months or years or tons of words to explain it. But when you meet someone with wisdom and he drops that golden nugget in front of you and he just summarizes it in terms of few short words and you get it immediately. And it doesn't have to be philosophical about it at all. So I've had those lessons from my mentors who one look at me will tell me, Mario, this is the problem with you, right? So honestly, when we seek out good mentors, the first key thing, guys, we have to lower down our ego, right? Because these are the people that have walked the path. And as long as we have that humility to say, okay, I will learn, I will put down my ego. Because at the end of the day, the person that we are now is a result of the past decisions and the past actions that we have taken that resulted in the person we are today. And if we're not happy with this version of ourselves, the next important step is what? We've got to make different decisions, different actions that will bring us to a different future. So now to answer your question is this. Because my mentors have taught me in very clear, succinct principles, short phrases. So even in the book, a lot of the feedback that I get is, Mario, you speak very simply. And I said, and that's the truth, isn't it? Simple is simplicity. Success is not complicated. The problem is all of us. Human beings tend to make it complicated. Either number one. Let me share this one last sentence, guys. On this train of thought, sorry. So the train of thought is this, okay? Over all the years, because I'm in business and finance, and people say, Mario, teach me something that can make me successful. I ask them a reverse question. The reverse question is this. I say, why are you not rich? And they get a shock. Because it's either number one, and I say, I'll tell you 2 reasons why. And it's either one of these 2. Number 1, you didn't study the rules of wealth. Or number 2, you're failing to adhere to the rules. It's one or the other. Simple as that.
You did
Go
not.
study the rules. And if you studied it, are you applying? Guys, it's that simple.
And this is when someone asks you, why? Show me something. You ask them, why are you rich or not? Why are you not rich?
Yes. I ask them a reverse question and it shocks their being, Because
Why are you not rich?
Because there are people who obviously are going all around the world trying to find out all the principles. And, there's a caveat to this, okay? I feel in the world that we are in now, guys, it's not difficult to be rich. And I don't mean it in an arrogant manner because the way the world has progressed, we are seeing people create wealth in a faster way, let's put it like that. But I found myself saying this, okay, during my fintech summit in Johannesburg. It was a packed audience, and I found myself saying this, all right, and people resonated with it. I said, you know what we're all lacking? We're lacking a spirit of discernment. And a sentence I said this, I said, even the Bible says, right, that even Satan can mask himself as an angel of light. This is the kind of world that we're living in now. How would you know when you're seeing someone who looks quote-unquote successful, that this is someone that's worth his salt or her salt that you can follow? Because the problem is, many people in the world today just see success as someone who has a lot of money, right? And they chase that.
Yeah.
But it could be building on the wrong foundation. If you're not building it on a strong cornerstone, on a solid foundation, everything else is just shifting sand. So the two keywords I shared with people, where is the moral imperative in everything that we are doing? Let me give you an example of that statement, okay? People can come to me and tell me, Amara, how do I make money? Well, there's a million ways for you to be making money. The question is, should you be doing that? That is the moral imperative. Should you be doing this? So I think that's where the key statement is, where I feel a lot of young people are probably not understanding this. Practical strategies are a dime a dozen, guys. The question is the moral imperative.
But are you rich?
Well, that depends on what that means. You know, in terms of material comfort, sure. I am. I live comfortably. I drive a Ferrari.
In the same context that you asked that person.
Yes.
Why are you not rich?
Yes.
Are you rich?
Yes, I am. And the key question is this, and I always deflect. When I say I deflect the question, or I go deeper with people, I say, tell me your definition. Right? Because the problem with the world, and why I always shock people by saying, yes, I drive a Ferrari first. So it kind of gets the materialism out of the way at the start. I'll tell them, yes, I do. But I can tell you guys, and a lot of people on Facebook, even my closest friends, hey, bro, I didn't know you drive a Ferrari. I say, yeah, I don't show it off. I buy it only because I enjoy driving. It's a work of art. It's a wonderful car. Here's my definition of success, guys, which I wrote in my book. There's 6 P's in it. Success is the passionate, persistent, progressive pursuit of a productive purpose. Now, this is true success. And and if you look at it again, okay, passionate, persistent, progressive pursuit of a productive purpose.
4 P's.
6 P's, bro.
6.
Passionate, persistent, progressive pursuit of a productive purpose.
Okay.
Yeah,
So are you rich?
I am. Are you, Eric?
I don't know. What's your definition of rich?
I just gave it to you.
Success and rich?
I put that together.
Okay.
Here's the reason why. What are we rich in? The problem with the world is that we tend to confine rich in terms of material comfort. I apologize if I want to use a couple of Bible verses. I'm a Christian, all right? The Bible actually says you cannot serve God and mammon. And the Bible is never wrong. And what that basically means is if you are building your entire life of the richness of material comfort, you will fail. There's nothing wrong with becoming rich. The question is the richness of materialism getting you? So there's nothing wrong with getting wealth, but is wealth getting you? So I feel, and this is something I was just having a discussion with my kids the other day, man. And I was telling them, I said, what Daddy wants to really teach you is not to become rich. Because what I leave to you is not going to be as important as what I leave in you. Values and principles. And that's actually one of the parenting mandates with my wife. We must teach the kids values. And that's something I'm teaching all my senior executives in my organization as well. Values and principles must be the moral compass of every single person.
So what's your business now? You're an investor, you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the entrepreneurship side.
Sure. So in my current stable, I mean, besides the companies that I invest in on the outside, here's a little bit of the companies that I build on the inside, okay?
Yeah.
So there are 3 companies in my stable. The first is a marketing and events company that's called Pipbox Group. That company holds the rights, the intellectual property to all my books, my programs, my courses.
Okay.
That company is called Pipbox Group. The second company is called Fullerton Markets. Now, Fullerton Markets is basically a brokerage firm. We are one of Asia Pacific's fastest growing multi-asset brokerage firms. What is a brokerage firm? It's essentially a trading platform that people can be trading currencies, stocks, crypto, indexes, oil, gold, silver, and the like. So that's a platform. The third company I have is a company called IWS FinTech. I resolved about 5 years ago, I needed to understand more about blockchain and the Web3 universe. So I built a company around it, hired some solid executives, and they are taking that company forward. That deals more on the B2B side. So meaning to say I hired professionals who can then consult companies in different industries who want to implement certain blockchain technologies. In a nutshell, that's what I do on the business side.
All right. So that's Fullerton Markets.
That's right.
Okay. And it has offices globally?
We do. And part of the reason why I'm here in Kenya is to actually explore the market to see whether or not it's viable for us to start both education and a brokerage business right here in Kenya.
Let's take a break. It's 29 minutes to 9. We have in studio Mario Singh. He's an entrepreneur, he's an investor, he's an author, he's a founder and chairman of Fullerton Markets. He's here to talk about the PEEP revolution. That is something we want to understand. What PEEP revolution is. It's PIP, not peeping Tom.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.